for us to ensure zero level of insecurity, we should join our hand together for a better development.
Violence, peace, developments are thus not as straightforward than it first meets the eye. Therefore, insecurity is not the only factor hindering sustainable development.
Hello viewers, welcome to the Great Debaters Contest Connect edition. We're giving you a veteran outlook on current debates. We have the members of the Connect team. Kindly introduce yourselves.
I'm Shinina Muthiara, a biomedical engineering student, former student at the Kenya High School. And a fun fact about me, I'm a lover of life.
A lover of life? A new one this time. What's your favorite color?
I don't have a favorite color.
Okay, that's a shame. Okay.
Hey, my name is Ron Simiu, medicine student, Kenyatta University, an alumni of Moifosis Academy.
Favorite color?
Oh, favorite color? Dark colors.
Oh, okay.
I'm Julie Kiruma. I study actual science in JKUAT Karen. I'm a former student of RIARA. Favorite color, anything that makes me look good.
Wow, okay.
I'm Amboru Jirma, student at Jomo Kenyatta University. I'm an engineering student undertaking geomatic engineering. My favorite color is blue.
Blue?
Yeah.
Effie?
Effie Loisa Kinyi, former student of St. Jude's Girls Secondary School, currently at Daystar University undertaking international relations. My favorite color is black.
Black.
Yes.
Okay. Not that we're blackening your day. Our motion today is insecurity is the greatest barrier to sustainable development. The schools that debated were Ndalatga Girls versus Umoja High School. Now, the proposers were talking about the fact that due to insecurity, there are deaths, yeah? And these deaths also consequently lead to fear. And these two elements actually hamper or make individuals be afraid or avoid engaging in economic activities. What are your sentiments on that, Julie?
I'll give an example. Let's say the scenario of Westgate. Many people died, and most of them were those ones who work there. So if I worked in Nakumatt, I was an employee.
And maybe you just always wanted to be an employer, right?
And I wanted to, and I'm post someplace like Westgate again, because now it has been reopened. I'd rather quit my job because the fear that was there will make me retract myself from that scenario and stay home. I'd rather even sell cabbage on the street than going back to that place where things happen and you feel so hurt. So that's why most people work with fear, and most people don't work with fear. So if you're fearful, you can't work, and that will make our economy,
depreciate.
Exactly.
Exactly. When you've stated that fear consequently leads you as an individual, as an employee, as a worker, to be unproductive. Yes, because you're not assured of your safety. Very well. And what do you think? Yeah, trauma. Effie, you've experienced trauma. You've been posted, maybe not exactly to the same place that you worked, that you experienced that trauma. Do you feel that on a greater scale, apart from you personally, right? On a greater scale, the fact that most individuals don't have access to this post-traumatic counseling, yes? Do you think it actually creates it actually has a ripple effect on the economy per se, such that we have a less motivated workforce?
Trauma is bad. It really ruins a lot of people, because if you keep on having the same pictures that you were involved in a particular accident, or rather you were put somewhere, locked somewhere, and you people were harassed, and you keep on having those imaginations, it will lead to less productivity, because you'll be like, I am working here, what else do I expect? I'm brought at the same place. Won't the same people come and attack me again, and I'll be less productive in a way that I'll be scared to work because of the pictures that I depict in my mind. The other time people were killed here at this particular place. What about myself? So I feel like there'll be less productivity in the economy and it will languish.
Slow down.
Yeah.
Development.
Development.
Now, look at it this way, yeah? Africa, or in most specifically here in Nairobi. Recently, we actually watched an expository investigative journalism piece about the Kanjo Kingdom, right? And we noticed that these hawkers or illegal traders or informal traders, if we're being politically correct, are being, they're experiencing some form of mistreatment and exploitation by members or officers from the city council, right? But we still see that they trade. They still wake up that morning, grab their sack, and sell their wares, right? Don't you think that supports the opposers' argument that, fine, insecurity is a threat to sustainable development. However, there are more greater threats to sustainable development. Ron?
Oh yeah, it does really support them because sometimes you can be insecure, you can be in an insecure location, insecure country, but at the end of the day you need to put food on the table. So yeah, there are many other factors that do affect it. Factors that actually pull the money from the economy, e.g. corruption. And in my opinion, it's quite rare to find a corrupt society that isn't insecure. Most corrupt societies end up being insecure. So yeah, it does support them to a great extent. And there are many factors, corruption being one of them. Yeah. In some societies, guys are less willing to work. I'll give an example of Eurozone, where the Germans surely complain that the Greeks are lazy and they don't contribute as much to the Eurozone as the Germans do. So they're always encouraging them. So there are many factors other than insecurity, in my opinion. And in oil-producing countries, a good number of oil-producing countries are faced with a lot of insecurity, political instability. But these countries still go on producing. Because, at the end of the day, as long as you can run the economy, you will always find means to secure yourself in an insecure environment.
Now, the government instituted the Nyumba Kumi initiative, yeah? I'm going to directly throw this at you. Do you think Nyumba Kumi has had a serious effect in your community?
Well, the Nyumba Kumi initiative, I've not been a participant in it. And I haven't had an opportunity to meet people who can tell me that it has made an impact in their lives, because the government itself has taken an initiative to create something that will help the youth. But I believe as a human being, if there is an initiative brought about by the society or the government, you as a person, you're supposed to go chase after it. But I feel like us, the youth, are just there. We complain about everything that is brought about. Oh, I am made to work here, but the pay I get is not enough. So basically what I'm trying to say is that the youth who are employed to work for the initiative, most of them tend to complain so much instead of chasing and appreciating what is there and take the mantle up to their hands and say, I have this opportunity where I can get to do this and that. Instead of complaining, they have an opportunity to make an impact in their lives instead of talking through this initiative, which is a good initiative that was brought about by the Kenyan government. And I believe the Kenyan government can come up with more initiatives instead of the Nyumba Kumi initiative alone, because this is just a way of preventing insecurity. Instead of us focusing on insecurity, there are other things that will make our country languish down other than it.
Chris, looking at sustainable development, yeah, what do you think, from your own opinion, that an Africa or a Kenya that is sustainably developed is? If you are told by an individual, fine, tell me if I was to give you all the money you need, as long as you described for me what sustainable development would look like? What would you say?
It's a big question.
It's easy, you know.
Sustainable
For a big man.
development. Sustainable development is, in my opinion, if I was given the money, let's say I was the which post, treasurer. Let's say I was the cabinet
I wanted to
secretary.
say the chief sustainable developer.
Let's say I was the chief sustainable developer of our country. In my own definition and terms, the way I place sustainable development is whereby a country that has efficient healthcare, a well-developed security system, you know, an industrialized nation, one that relies on its own self, that the country's economy relies on itself, that it doesn't have to grow on something else or someone else or
Debt.
debt, yes, to what Ron was saying. So we on sustainable development, our country right now, I don't think we've reached that level of being sustainably developed, such that we can be able to fully rely on ourselves. Because it's a big task. It's a very big task. And we have loans from World Bank, from IMF is on our neck. So not yet.
Very well. So Chris is of the opinion that a sustainable Africa or a sustainable Kenya is where that we eat what we've produced. Simply put, right?
Yeah.
Now, Effie, the big chunk of the question goes to you. Not because of affirmative action, because I'm sure she, you know, would slit my throat, but but because I'd like to know, if you were given that task of providing all the things Chris has listed down, good healthcare, where we eat what we produce, where we have no debt, what would be your first course of action?
My first course of action will be I ensure that everybody is healthy, because once everybody is healthy, you're able to get people to employ and you're able to see that businesses are running. Many people are not able to attend different kinds of tasks attached to them because of their health issues and statuses. You find that someone is suffering from HIV and AIDS, but due to the stigmatization he receives from the society, it lowers him that he's not able to go and work because he feels like people look down upon him. So ensuring that people in a country are safe, whether you're suffering from a sexually transmitted disease or a
Just a common cold, yeah?
yeah, I have to ensure that everyone's health is at a good risk for me to be able to see that my people are happy, because once someone's health is looked upon, you're able to get more people to work for you, regardless of the wage you're receiving. You're able to employ people and avoid seeing people idling around. You know, people are happy when they see themselves working. Though Kenyans tend to complain.
True.
Tend to complain on the work given to them. You tell someone, go here and dig. They're like, hiyo ni kazi ya kijana. There's nothing for kijana. If you have something at hand, take it, work towards it to ensure you make yourself a better person. So I'll go with health.
Wow. So Effie here is saying that she would first tackle health, making sure that Kenyans are healthy such that they can provide a much better workforce. Now, the question to you, our viewers, before we go on break is, what do you believe should be tackled first in order to ensure that Kenya is sustainably developed? Austin Yombok. See you after the break.
Youths who have potential, youths who are the next leaders of our countries, new youths who will contribute to the development of our country. But the same youths can't go to school. Why? Because of insecurity.
To meet a sustainable development requires a genuine political and institutional will. The leaders or those individuals who are giving the mandate should be willing, they should be very passionate in their leadership.
Welcome back. This is the Great Debaters Contest Connect Edition, Veterans Analyzing Current Issues. So Ron had something very burning to say before the break now. Ron, take it away.
Okay, I had a wild dream recently, and I usually have a lot of those. If you give me a lot of money, enough money to start my own kingdom and land, you know what I'll ensure will be perfect first? The social institutions and the government institutions. The reason Kenya has a lot of problems because we have non-functional government institutions, social institutions that are failing us, policies which will never work, like the Nyumba Kumi initiative. Let's be honest, it will never work. It doesn't work.
Let's not just say it never worked. Let's say it hasn't served its purpose completely.
Okay, it hasn't served its purpose completely, and I don't see it doing so soon. This is what I'll do. I'll create a police force that is efficient, invest as much money as possible in an ethics and anti-corruption commission, give it a lot of power to ensure other institutions are, corruption-free. I'll give them a lot of power, free them from political influence, so they shouldn't be political appointees. The central bank and other institutions, such institutions are extremely important for sustainable development. So, I'll give them a lot of... Politics really affects our institutions. That's my point. So I'll free most of our institutions from
So
that.
you feel that politics is ruining, yes?
Yeah, it's
our institutions and making our... they're actually undermining our laws.
They're undermining our laws, and political appointees
So
always work.
So
in
we've
favor
not
of
said
their
politicians, we've just said politics, right?
politics
Exactly.
in institutions. And
So-
also, of course, education system will have to be...
But
go.
Austin,
Yeah?
you said that the Nyumba Kumi initiative does not work, or
Let
it's
me
not
tell you
effective.
why.
But do you know the 5 people on your right and your left around you? What they do, the
Exactly.
parents and their kids.
I
Do you know?
I do not know.
Exactly. So you're also supposed to start it, then you go blame the Nyumba Kumi initiative.
Wow.
Start
okay.
with you, then start blaming.
Yeah, I will blame myself,
Exactly.
and I'll blame my neighbors.
So it has not worked.
And let me tell you, you can never... The government should never give the citizens the responsibility
Why?
of their own security. You will not expect every
They're
citizen
not giving
to
us,
take...
they're giving
Let
us
me
an
finish.
opportunity to start with ourselves so that they can do it.
It's good they've given us that opportunity, but let's be realistic. It's not utopia. Not every citizen
Wow,
will be
okay.
so willing to know what is going on around them. And I'll give you an example of me. I have school, I have work, I have things to do. Why should I go nosing around on my neighbors who don't want me doing so anyway?
Talking about insecurity, yeah, I'll delve in a little bit more into the economic side. We're finding a fact that we're having an Africa that is over-reliant on agriculture and natural resources, yes? And it's not actually taking measures or putting up channels in which we're able to exploit those resources, because presently we have to actually bring in external institutions, external companies to actually exploit the resources for us. Yeah? Don't you think that Kenya or Africa at large, sub-Saharan Africa at large, is stuck in the agrarian revolution? And most of the policies that are being charted out are about technology. Yeah? So we're skipping the industrial revolution. Yeah? And trying to jump to the technological revolution. How are we going to make those computers we want to use? Yeah? Will we import those computers we want to use so that we can sustain our technological revolution? I think that goes against the whole idea of sustainable development. Chris, you're burning. You're just waiting for my full stop. Okay.
Austin, do you know the definition of agrarian revolution?
Okay.
Please, no, I'm asking you a question.
I do. I actually
What is
do.
agrarian revolution?
Agrarian revolution is the gradual changes or advancements in technology or methods of farming that ensure that food security is maintained in an area.
Thank you. You've mentioned one important aspect, technology. You see, we're not, when you're saying we're going back to the agrarian revolution,
No, I actually meant Kenya is stuck in the agrarian revolution because the technology we are developing for agriculture, does not ensure we combat food insecurity.
The reason why it was called a revolution, it's because agriculture in its real sense changed from the way we used our hands, our tools, to mechanized methods. You see, the reason
Right now, actually, we're still in the agrarian revolution.
Exactly my sentiments, exactly.
Agrarian revolution is not supposed to end. That, my friend, that's
No,
the
as
thing.
in,
It's
no,
supposed to
it's supposed to
evolve.
transcend. We've
If-
been able to now produce, yeah? We've been able to create resources. We've discovered resources. We have ways of making sure those resources are actually maintained. Now, how do we exploit those resources? How do we process what we are producing? Where are those industries that ensure, fine, we have Brookside, we have all the other, we have all the other companies that process milk, yeah? However, how many of those companies exist? And why is it such a monopoly?
Chris, we've not refused the technology.
Thank you,
is changing.
Shinina.
What
Thank
we are
you.
saying is we've remained at the same place. Why do we still have Brookside and all these other things as monopolies? What we're saying is let's have more industries. Let's process more. Let's export what we are processing. We cannot sit at the same place. We cannot keep importing other things. And like, mind you, imported sugar, I think, I'm not sure about this, I'm not sure if it's a fact or not, but I hear it spoken that imported stuff is cheaper than what we produce ourselves.
Julie has something to say. Let's let Julie. We're dominating the conversation.
The reason why most of our monopoly industries that don't work is if you watch news, you'll see how the people, you're only looking at the people who are here. Please look at the people who are here. The ones who are planting the things and cutting the things and selling them, and they're not paid enough. You do so much work, you're given a little wage. As a person, will you continue?
Typical Kenyan.
No. Okay, yes, I'm a typical Kenyan, yes.
No, that mentality has to change.
But you're telling me if you
Let's
listen.
No, I don't want to listen because what you're telling me, it starts with you as an individual. Africa is sleeping. We have the resources.
okay.
We have everything.
So I should
but
work
we
for
are
a little wage.
complaining
What
about
about
So,
we get
Julie, what we are saying, listen, Julie, if we had more industries, those people would have places to take their
And you won't
produce.
be complaining.
If you don't have a place to take your produce, who are you selling it to?
And more
If all of us are selling our milk to Brookside, how much are you going to sell that milk for?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
What
let
if
me-
Brookside sets or let's be more politically correct. What if company X, yeah, sets the price at this amount that is literally inakufinyilia?
Yeah, because you're getting
And-
it from everyone anyway.
Exactly. Do you understand the situation? If we broaden the fact that there are more industries, there's more competition, yeah? I think it would actually push our agenda of sustainable development a bit.
Exactly.
Let me hold you there.
Okay.
Let me take you back. After independence, most African nations and most African leaders believe that the more industries you build, the more economically sustainable you will be. And that has proven to be wrong. Let me tell you why. I'll give you an example of Tanzania. They build industries. Are they economically sustainable? Kenya, we did the same thing. Are we at that level? So did Ghana. Most African countries did that. And it was the wrong direction. No. Let me tell you why it was the wrong direction. They took an example. They looked back to Europe. You know why Europe had to build its industries? They needed this product. These products were not there before. No, they needed it to be more efficient in their work. They needed it to sustain their living standards, to improve their living standards. They needed it. But at that time, importing for Africa would have been always the cheaper option. And that's why some industries like pan paper kept on falling. There are so many industries that went bankrupt because they couldn't sustain themselves. We looked at it the wrong way. Look at Dubai. Dubai doesn't have a lot of industries, but look at its economic growth rate. They found a niche in the market and they exploited it. So I do not believe industrialization will take us anywhere. That's why in Africa currently very few countries and governments are building industries.
All right. I think we need to cap it off. We'll continue the debate the next episode. We'd urge you, members of the audience and our viewers back home, tell us, do you think that Africa, or Kenya to be more specific, is stuck in the agrarian revolution? I'm Austin Yombok, and thank you for watching.